I want to start with the issue of taxes, and in particular the issue of a minimum wage, because I think both of you gentlemen differ on what it may take to get there. Mick?
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for having me. I welcome this discussion. We've had it many times in the past. I saw Senator Warner on here a couple minutes ago saying that, we needed a $15 an hour minimum wage. We had full employment. We had as many folks working as we ever have had in the past under the Trump administration without forcing a minimum wage. Plus, as I think the senator would be the first to admit, a federal minimum wage makes absolutely 0 sense. The cost of living in New York is different than it is in Montana. We have a system now where states can set and do set minimum wages, and it makes very little economic sense. It makes great political sense. I understand where my Democrat friends are coming from on this, but it makes very little economic sense. And my guess is the overall economic impact will be to lower the level of employment.
John Hope Bryant, are you on the other side of this or no?
Yeah, I'm just so hoping we were going to have a different conversation this morning. I was hoping to stop with the ridiculous. I was actually going to give the guy a compliment for abandoning a crazy ship before he hit the rocks, and then he disappointed me. Look, this economy is 70% consumer spending. This is a radical movement of common sense. In order for my rich people to do better, in order for my rich friends to stay rich, my poor friends have to do better. This is not complicated. 70% of this economy, listen now, is consumer spending. And 64% of Americans don't have, before COVID, $400 for an unplanned event. And we should see the effects of not supporting the bottom of the pyramid with what's going on right now with an economic crisis that rivals the Great Depression. The bottom of the pyramid supports everything else. I pay my people $15 an hour. No one forces me to do it. I don't go broke. I'm a business owner. I'm a small business owner. I pay my people a minimum of $15 an hour. I'm doing well. My suits aren't tattered, right? And you know what? They're able to pay their bills, their mortgage, their car note, go to a restaurant, which we need to support, go to a vacation once a year. All this recirculates, as you know, Andrew, back in the economy. And this drives GDP. We will survive an increase of minimum wage to decency. I would go one step further, Andrew, and suggest the earned income tax credit be mandated for all Americans, and that all Americans pay for EITC, not employers, so that people who make $60,000 a year or less, which is most of this country, get a bonus for working every year, just like Wall Street, so that Main Street and Wall Street are excited about getting up every day and going to work. It's ridiculous that the average person has to work 2.5 jobs to have a decency life of a roof over their head, a car note, and food on the table. We are better than this, and we will have economic growth by doing more and making America normal again,
John,
which is a market.
Let me ask you a question. John, let me ask you a question, though, and Mick can weigh in on this as well. If you go back in history and you look at the critique of President Hoover, actually, after the financial crisis in 1929, the critique would say, I think fairly, that he raised taxes. Not only did he raise taxes at the time, and you can blame the Fed at the time, he was pushing companies to hire people at higher wages, all things which, from the heart, make a lot of sense, but I think potentially and arguably potentially set that economy back at that time. Fair analysis, unfair analysis? I know we're doing history over 100 years ago now.
It's okay. It's
almost 100 years ago now.
It's okay. It's a continuing story, Andrew. You had the thing that came out of the Great Depression, which nobody acknowledges, was Social Security. Okay, before that, you worked from 8 years old to 80, and you fell out dead. Our leaders went to Europe, saw people had this thing called retirement, and they gave people a chance to stop working at 65, I think it is now, and that allowed young people to create jobs to go into the workplace. That created a whole new opportunity for employment. That was the private sector feeding off of a government sector incentive. Then you pivoted to when the economy really took off, which was really World War II. It took a decade, but World War II was actually the thing that triggered, and that was government spending to private sector contracting. By the way, where are we at right now? And then that led to the Marshall Plan. I'm saying, as you know, we're at war. We're at war with a virus. I'm sorry, Virus is at war with us. we aren't returning fire, okay? And we need to return fire, and we need to use the massive apparatus of the federal government with smart taxing, with smart incentives of the private sector, which includes internships at scale, apprenticeships at scale, reinvestment at scale, infrastructure reinvestment at scale, which will trigger additional GDP. So we're going to take something that took, 15 years in the 20th century.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.